This is a Best Syndication video production. On October 10, 2007, we attended the Zone L Water Board meeting. Zone L includes Phelan and Pinon Hills. The discussion included various delays of projects in the zone. County officials were on hand to answer questions.
Just waiting to put in the panel, what is it, the pump and motor?
Those have been installed.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how about the tanks? Those tanks haven't been, according to Bill, they've been engineered, but there hasn't been any work done on the
Raising of the tanks, right?
Raising of the tanks.
The
Yeah.
raising of the tanks was just approved at the last board meeting.
Because that's something we could have done at any time in the last
You're
3
absolutely
years.
correct. Yes.
Why didn't we do it?
Why that's my question.
I don't have a good answer for that.
Well, you ought to have the answer. You're in charge.
I agree. I don't disagree.
I don't think you're doing a very good job.
Have Jim, yeah.
We need to have staff, going back and forth with the board on the issue.
We're getting the information.
I know, but come on,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I took that item to the board last week, Tuesday. It was approved.
People get frustrated when we don't get the kind of movement in 2 or 3 years that we should have had. So we make allowances for that, but we're still getting the answer here. So, but it is a frustrating situation. Those tanks could have been done any time in the last 3 years, and they haven't been. And that is frustration to me. I just contain it a little better. Okay. So,
if the CSD is approved in February, and these tanks are still under, they're needed to be done, is that something that's going to be assumed by special districts as it's a pre-existing condition, or is it something that the CSD is going to have to handle?
Well, what happens is, if the CSD is formed, then the new board of directors of the CSD have the authority. Well, it's already in the hopper. It's been approved as far as the capital improvement project in our budget process. So we would continue to move forward so long as the board at that time didn't object. And I don't believe they would.
Basically, it'll remain a project through special districts.
Yes, sir.
Until finished.
On behalf of the CSD.
Okay.
but at the same time, the CSD has the right to tell you to stop.
That is correct. Yes, that's true. Let's say, for instance, there was something that the board objected to. We don't have the authority to operate at that time outside of the wishes of the board of directors.
Yeah.
So, they could stop it without a doubt. And that is correct.
Or accelerate it.
Or accelerate it. That is true.
here's a question that I had, because this is in the back of my mind. I know that our loan money goes into one big pot, because it's just one big happy family here in special districts. But we haven't slowed that job up because you're using that money somewhere else, figuring you'll pay it back later, and of course you would. We'll get our tanks, but is our money there ready to be spent?
Absolutely. Legally, we have to keep those funds divvied up.
Well, I know legally, but I know things don't always work out legally the way they should in a lot of instances, for one reason or another. But the thing is, what then would have kept that job from getting done?
I would say that I think it's a matter of I don't have a good answer for that. To be honest
I'll tell
with
you,
you, Mike.
I'll give you a
Just a
word
minute,
for
just a
it.
minute. Hold it. Right?
Well, you give him a word.
Well, wait your turn, because I'm talking to him right now. Okay?
To be honest with you, I think that there's no good excuse. There's just no excuse. The district had the funds to perform the CIP projects. They're not done. I can't sit here and...
Is it just you don't have staff to do it, or?
No, we have staff. Because
you guys don't actually do the work, you just contract it out, right?
Not well.
I mean, you wouldn't rebuild the tanks, you wouldn't have your guys.
Yeah, we wouldn't have staff do it, but what's happening is it'll have to go through engineering review. We do only have the one engineer. Some instances we'll farm things out through other district engineers, but even still we review it before it goes out. Because of the cost of the project, we want to make sure that it's done right first time.
Okay, so if the pump goes in, let's say it starts before the end of the year, the pump starts back filling the system. Where are we as far as storage? In other words, can we even store that water?
Oh, we're
We have
fine.
plenty of storage.
Yeah,
I was
we've
gonna
already
understand that we
used
had,
it.
yeah, we have.
The only reason we're raising those tanks is so that we'll
Because
have
you
extra-
you'll shut one pump off and run that one instead, which is okay. But assuming it doesn't, next summer, let's say we have another, situation we had this dry summer, and we had a little problem this summer. Are those tanks, would those tanks be done by then?
Oh, yeah, those should be, well, let's see here. If I just took it to the board last week, and it should be going out to bid shortly, raising of those tanks would probably take, what, 6 to 8 months?
I'm not sure on the.
How many tanks are we raising?
It would be 4. Is it 4?
Four, that's what I thought.
And we're gonna gain something like 326,000 gallons capacity or something like that. And it's very cost effective, this process, of just raising the elevation of the tanks.
Okay.
The funding for various projects that we have going on, are they in one fiduciary fund or are they in separate fiduciary funds?
I'd have to look at the budget book, but let me think about this for a minute. They all have different fund codes because you have different methods of funding. In Zone L, though, it's all being funded locally. There's no grants or loans or anything like that.
The one loan.
Was there one?
Yeah, the $5 million loan was.
No, but I'm referring to, is that also, are we using that fund or those monies to raise the tanks as well? Oh, okay,
Yes.
excuse me. So then in the budget book, it would show me that,
Okay.
what the funding is. See, I'd have to look at the budget book to be able to.
So they
speak
have
to
that stuff segregated?
Oh, yeah, and as a matter of fact, if you like, I can provide you those sections of the budgets. We can go over those budgets. The other thing is, to make sure, to reach some level of comfort with you, if you like, we can visit the auditor and we can discuss those funds because they're all separate, every single one of them. Like I say, they're all in the budget book and they all have their own fund codes.
Right.
The money's there.
Would you make sure, because I noticed I'm looking at the minutes of last month, would you make sure that Jim is here this next month? Because he wasn't here last month either.
Yes, I'll
And we're
make sure.
kind of getting, he's drifting away from us, you might say. And because we have some questions that it looks like only he can really answer definitively. Of course, by then, we ought to know whether we're going to have we'll know whether there's going to be water on the 15th of November, don't we? It'll just about be the 15th of November.
If you have questions right now for Jim, if you were to give Manuel the questions.
Can't hear you.
If you have questions for Jim, if you were to give them to Manuel now, since Manuel is his boss,
We can get it back.
he can get back to you.
Well,
before
yeah.
then. I would hate for you to have to wait 30 days to get an answer.
Well, I think we did. I gave
Okay.
an answer a couple of questions for us already.
Okay.
You were outside, but we had.
Yeah, sorry, we were
We
looking
had
at
done that.
things that had to get done out there.
Okay, but it still would be good for him to be here because
Not a
there's
problem.
I'll have
things
it
that
here.
he knows that you don't necessarily know the details of. Okay.
But, excuse me, but Al, would you like me to get you those budget sections and provide those to everybody? I can do that. And I can have Randy Booker come out, if that'll help, and we can go over those budget pages and,
Why don't you just get the answers for them?
I think if you would like to have that, we can do that.
I would
might be
like to
interested.
have that. I think
Anybody else?
I think it'd be knowledgeable.
I didn't know what we could get out of it, but
Will you
maybe
be,
something.
will you be in the area tomorrow night?
Yeah, I would.
Because the gentleman in question is coming to give a presentation to the MAC regarding their budget items.
Oh, Randy?
What I can have is Manuel can ask him to have that information so he can at least hand it to you tomorrow. Obviously not present it because it's not
Okay.
your board, but that way you'll have it tomorrow night.
I can make a point of being here tonight.
We'll have the information tomorrow.
Thank you.
No problem.
This has been a Best Syndication video production.